Hello everybody and welcome to the ESWBL League. The matchup that you're about to see is between the Crawdads and the Agents. Before we begin, let's take a look at their rosters. For the Crawdads, we have Captain Eric Crawford, Brian Crawford, Mike Giesman, Michael Giesman, and Jackson Weber. For the Agents, we have Captain Derek Winston, Joe Bass, Joe Walters, and Brian Stevens. Now, let's get right into the action. All right, on the mound for the Agents is Joe Walters as he faces off against Michael Giesman. Michael, ground ball up the middle. Derek throwing it to first, but not in time, as Brian not able to hold on to it at first. Now, Brian Crawford up to the plate as he watches ball four. Now there's a man on first and second, with Mike Giesman coming to the plate. Mike watching ball four, and now the bases are loaded. Eric Crawford now up to the plate as he hits it. Fly ball, center field, caught at the warning track, but Michael Giesman is going to tag up for the first run of the ball game. As now we have a man on first and second with Michael Giesman up to the plate. Ground ball that is going to land right on the line as now the bases are loaded. Brian Crawford up to the plate now as he watches strike three for the second out of the inning. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate with the bases loaded as he pops it up, and the pitcher Joe's going to secure it for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the first. The Crawdads able to gain one run there off of a sac fly, and now the Agents are coming to bat with Mike Giesman on the mound for the Crawdads. Derek Winston up to the plate as he drives it left field. That ball's gone. A game-tying home run for Derek Winston. As now Joe Walters up to the plate as he gets ground ball back to the pitcher. Mike's going to run and beat him the first for the first out of the inning. Now Brian Stevens up to the plate as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Now Derek Winston up to the plate as he watches ball four, and they have a one-out walk. Now they have a man on first with Joe Walters up to the plate as he watches ball four, back-to-back walks. Now there's a man on first and second. Brian Stevens now up to the plate. Ground ball left side. Michael Giesman not able to have a play there as it had a crazy hop. Let's see an instant replay of just how bad that hop was, as the ball was heading like straight towards him, and all of a sudden it redirects to the left, and Michael just not able to hang on to it. But it doesn't hurt too much as no runs score, as now the bases are loaded. Derek Winston up to the plate. Ground ball back to the pitcher Mike. Mike bobbling a little bit, dives in the third, and he beats Brian for the third out of the inning. Great play by Mike as he sacrifices his body there to make that out. As now we're going to be heading into the top of the second. The game's all tied at 1 due to the Derek Winston solo shot. And now let's see if the Crawdads can take the lead back as Eric Crawford up to the plate. And he hits a ground ball left side. Derek Winston grabs it, throws it to first, and
I think it was a tie.
It was a very close play. Let's take an instant replay. They're going to say he tied, but let's see if he actually did here, as it looks like he was actually out by half of a step there. So bad call on the field, but anyways, he's safe at first. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he pops it up left field. I thought I was going to center for a second, but Joe Walters going to secure it for the first out of the inning. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he watches strike three, as the ball goes behind his head there as he ducks it for the second out of the inning. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate. High drive, right field. That ball's gone! A 2-run home run for Mike Giesman as he celebrates at first base to give the Crawdads the lead. The score now being 3-1. And now Eric Crawford coming to the plate here as he pops it up center field. Derek not able to grab it as he makes a good attempt at it, but Eric's going to be safe at first. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he hits it, tailing to left field. Derek Winston tracking it, and he runs a long way to catch it for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the second. The Crawdads able to gain the lead there on a Mike Giesman 2-run home run to make the score 3-1. Now up to the plate for the Agents is Derek Winston as he hits a ground ball up the middle, and Mike's not going to have a play as Derek's going to be safe at first. Now Joe Walters up to the plate As it's ground ball right side, and they're not going to have a play as now there's a man on first and second. Brian Stevens up to the plate. As he drives it, left center field, caught by Michael at the warning track. That was hit pretty hard. I thought that might have got out, but that is the first out of the inning. Now, Derek Winston up to the plate as he watches ball 4, and the bases are now loaded. The agents in business here. As Joe Walters up to the plate, and he hits ground ball, and Mike Giesman bobbling it, and not able to have a play as he throws it to the ground in frustration as a run is going to score, and the bases are going to stay loaded. Now, Brian Stevens up to the plate. Line drive left side. Derek Winston's going to score. Joe Walters rounding third on his way home, and that's the second run as the agents are going to take the lead here by a score of 3-4. Now, Derek Winston up to the plate as he drives it left field. That ball's off the fence as Joe Walters is going to score, and now the score is 3-5 with Joe Walters back up to the plate. And he watches ball 4, and now the bases are going to be loaded. Now Brian Stevens up to the plate as he hits it left field. Michael Giesman catching it, and the runners are going to stay put as that is the second out of the inning. Now Derek Winston up to the plate as he drives it left field. That ball's gone. A grand slam for Derek Winston as he busts this game wide open as now the score is 9-3. And the 5-run inning mercy rule is going to apply as we're heading into the top of the third. The Crawdads are going to need 6 to tie and 7 to take the lead if they want to stay alive here. As now leading it off is Brian Crawford. And he swings and misses for the first out of the inning. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate as he drives it right field. That ball's gone. A solo shot for Mike Giesman as they chip away at the agent's lead, but they still have a ton of work to do. Now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he hits it ground ball. Joe Walters going to grab it and tag first for the second out of the inning. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he swings and misses for the final out of the inning as that is the end of game number 1. The Agents win by a score of 9-4 as the Agents had a huge bottom of the second inning topped off with a Derek Winston grand slam which really sealed the victory here for the Agents in game number 1. As now we're going to be heading into game number 2 with Brian Stevens on the mound for the Agents as he faces off against Michael Giesman. And Michael watching ball 4 as that's going to be a leadoff walk. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he pops it up to the pitcher. Brian catching it for the first out of the inning. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate as he watches ball 4. Now there's a man on first and second. And it looks like Derek Winston's going to be coming in relief already for Brian Stevens as Eric Crawford's going to pop that up to the left side. Brian Stevens dropping it. Derek Winston throws it at Michael and it just gets him for the second out of the inning. And now Michael Giesman up to the plate watching ball 4 and the bases are now loaded. Brian Crawford up to the plate as he watches ball 4 and that's going to walk home a run as now the score is 1-0. Mike Giesman up to the plate, pops it up, back to the pitcher, Derek, and he catches it for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the first. The Crawdads able to gain 1 run there on a bases-loaded walk. So now let's see if the Agents can gain some runs. With Michael Giesman on the mound here for the Crawdads, Derek Winston, ground ball left side, and that's going to be a single for Derek, as now they have a man on first. Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits a ground ball up the middle, and that's going right to the bag, and Mike Giesman's going to grab the ball and tag the bag at the same time, as that was perfectly placed for the first out. Now Brian Stevens up to the plate, watching ball 4, and now there's a man on first and second. Derek Winston up to the plate as he hits ground ball left side, and they're not going to have a play as the bases are now loaded. Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits ground ball up the middle. Michael Giesman gonna... Oh, he actually bobbled it, and 2 runs are going to score off of that, as it looked like Michael had the ball. We couldn't quite see from the camera view, but the Agents now in the lead, 2-1. Brian Stevens swing and missing for the second out of the inning. Now Derek Winston up to the plate as he watches strike 3 on a nice pitch by Michael Giesman. And that's going to be the end of the bottom of the first, as now we're going to be heading into the top of the second, as the Agents were able to score 2 runs there on the ball hit back to the pitcher by Joe Walters that was bobbled, as now we're going to see if the Crawdads can get back in the lead here with Eric Crawford coming to the plate. Now Eric hits it, line drive left side, beautiful catch by Joe Walters. Let's see an instant replay of that one, as it was a line drive and Joe laying fully out, able to full extension catch that for the first out of the inning. Great catch. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate, watching ball 4, and they have a man on first. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate, as he hits a ground ball back to the pitcher, Derek. Derek's going to just throw it at Brian for the second out of the inning, but Michael is going to advance to third. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate as he pops it up left side, and Joe Walters catching it for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the second. The Crawdads not able to gain any runs there in the inning, as now the Agents looking to add a little bit of padding to their lead, with Joe Walters leading it off here. And he hits ground ball up the middle. Eric Crawford throws it to first. Nice throw to first, but just not in time. Now Brian Stevens up to the plate, ground ball up the middle, and Mike Giesman, it goes right to the second base bag, and he just goes and lays on the second base bag. That happened, I think, last inning. Pretty crazy, but that is the first out. Now Derek Winston up to the plate, hits it, right field. Mike Giesman catching it, and Brian Stevens was off the bag, but he got back in time. Now, 2 outs. Joe Walters up to the plate, drives it, right field. That ball is gone! A 2-run home run for Joe Walters, as now that 2-run home run makes the score 4-1. The Agents adding a little insurance to the lead, with Brian Stevens coming to the plate. Now, Brian, ground ball, left side. Eric Crawford grabs it, throws it to first, and he gets him. Nice strong throw by Eric for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading in the top of the third. The Agents able to gain 2 runs there on a 2-run home run by Joe Walters, as now the Crawdads need 3 to tie and 4 to take the lead. So let's see if they can do it. Now Eric Crawford leading off here, and he hits ground ball left side. Joe Walters grabbing it, throwing to first, and not caught by the first baseman Brian, so Eric's going to be safe. Now, Michael Giesman up to the plate, ground ball up the middle. Derek Winston throws it back to second, and they got him at second. Nice throw by Derek for the first out. Now, Brian Crawford up to the plate, hits it right side. Brian Stevens drops it, but he's just going to flip it to second for the second out of the inning. Now, it comes down to Mike Giesman. Mike Giesman popping it up, right side. Derek catching it for the third out of the inning, and that is the end of game number 2. The Agents win by a score of 4-1, backed by a 2-run home run by Joe Walters in the bottom of the second. As now we're going to be heading into game number 3, and the Crawdads are looking to avoid a sweep here, as the Agents have won game 1 and game 2. Now on the mound for the Agents is Derek Winston again, as he's going to strike Michael out for the first out of the inning. Now, Brian Crawford up to the plate as he pops it up right side. Brian Stevens catches it as he holds it to his chest for the second out of the inning. Now, Mike Giesman up to the plate as it's ground ball left side. Joe Walters throwing it to first. That was a great play by Joe Walters. Let's take an instant replay look at that one, as Mike hits it to the left side. Joe grabs it, goes to one knee, slings it across while he's falling off balance to first, but it looks like Mike Giesman beats that by half a step, so he's going to be safe at first. Now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he hits ground ball left side. Joe Walters gets by him, and now they're going to have a man on first and second. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he pops it up center field. Joe Walters catching it for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the first. The Crawdads not able to score any there in their half of the inning. So let's see if the Agents can go ahead and get a few runs, as Brian Crawford's going to be on the mound for the Crawdads, and Brian Stevens leading it off and watching ball 4. As he looked back, making sure it was ball 4, and it was. As now Derek Winston up to the plate, watching ball 4 as well. Back-to-back walks. Now Joe Walters up to the plate as he watches ball 4, back-to-back-to-back walks. as now the Agents have the bases loaded. Brian Stevens, ground ball, left side. Mike Geisman not going to have a play, and the Agents are going to be on the board as now the score is 1-0. Derek Winston now up to the plate. Ground ball up the middle. Eric Crawford going to tag second, but a run is going to score. And wait, Brian Stevens is coming home as well as he's going to score, and Derek's going to end up at second. As now they have a man on second with 2 runs scoring there. Now Joe Walters up to the plate. As he hits it, Eric Crawford not going to have a play as now they're going to have a man on first and third. Brian Stevens now up to the plate. As he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Now, Derek Winston up to the plate. High drive, left field. That ball's gone! A 3-run home run by Derek Winston. As the 5-run inning mercy rule is going to apply here, with the Agents now in the lead, 6-0. Capped off with that 3-run home run by Derek Winston. As now the Crawdads are looking to get some runs on the board. Brian Crawford leading it off here as he hits it left side. Joe Walters catching it for the first out of the inning. Now Mike Geisman up to the plate as he watches ball 4. Now they have a man on first. Eric Crawford up to the plate as he hits ground ball left side. Joe Walters not going to have a play as now there's a man on first and second. Michael Geisman up to the plate as it's ground ball back to pitcher Derek. Derek's going to run the first. He's going to throw it to second, and he gets Eric Crawford. What a beautiful double play by Derek. Let's see an instant replay as Michael hits the ball back to Derek at the mound. Derek runs to first, and as soon as he touches first base, he fires it to second, and you can see it hits Eric right in the back for the third out of the inning. What a great play by Derek, as now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the second as the Agents are looking to add some padding to their already substantial lead as Joe Walters leads it off here. And he watches ball 4, and there's a man on first. Now Brian Stevens up to the plate as he pops it up. Brian catching it for the first out of the inning. Now Derek Winston up to the plate as he pops it up. Back-to-back outs to the pitcher for the second out of the inning. Now Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits it up the middle. Mike Geisman diving, not able to hold on to it. Michael Geisman grabs it, collides with Derek. A lot just happened there, so let's just take an instant replay as Joe hits it up the middle. Mike diving to his right, and it was in his hands for a second, but it plops out, and it bounces to Michael. Michael running the second, just tying with Derek, and then he collides with them there at the end. Looks like everybody's okay, but he's going to be safe at second. Now, Brian Stevens, ground ball, back to Brian. Brian throwing it to first, and it just hits Brian in the leg, as it looked like Derek Winston was going to score there if he did not get Brian out, so that was a clutch play, as Brian bobbling it there in this instant replay. We can see then he throws it to first, but he hits Brian right there in his right leg for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the top of the third. The Crawdads need 6 to tie and 7 to take the lead if they want to stay alive here. Now leading it off is Brian Crawford as he pops it up right side. Brian Stevens catching it for the first out of the inning. Now Mike Geisman up to the plate as he drives it right field. That ball's gone! A solo home run, and he breaks the shutout as now the score is 6-1. Now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he hits a ball up the middle, and he's going to be safe at first with a single. With Michael Geisman coming to the plate. Michael, ground ball, back to the pitcher Derek. Derek throws it to first, and he gets Michael on a great throw for the second out of the inning. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he hits it, ground ball left side, and Joe Walters not going to have a play as now there's a man on first and second. Mike Geisman up to the plate now as he drives it left field. That ball's gone. A 3-run home run for Mike Geisman as now the score is 4-6 and we have a ball game. Eric Crawford up to the plate. High drive left field. Is it going to stay fair? It does. A solo home run for Eric Crawford as now they just need one more to tie it up. Michael Geisman, ground ball, back to Derek. Derek gonna hit him just in time for the third out of the inning. And that is the end of game number 3. The Agents win by a slim margin of 5-6. And with that win, they have swept the Crawdads here, winning games 1, 2, and 3. That's the end of today's action. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you around next time.